Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 2744 Southeast Brent Street here in Hillsboro. We're located up on the roof. We're going through a 2-inch vent as our point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. We currently have water running. We'll zero out the camera counter out at the base of the vent if indeed this works for us here. It's kind of a small vent to go through, so we're kind of hoping it's going to do the job. The clean out, I've been in the crawl space and followed the line out, and looks like it has been bricked over the top by the little brick out front. But we have made it into the main line here, so I think we're in good shape. We're going to clean the cobwebs off the camera. Once I get down to the bottom of the vent again, though, I'll zero the camera length counter out, and we'll refer to that spot as the point of access. Alright, here we go. And looking in the crawl, I believe this is 3-inch ABS pipe. It's really tough to tell. The line dives into the dirt down the crawl space. It might be 4-inch. It's kind of hard to tell. We just went through some standing water there. We'll check that out on the way back. Alright, just transitioned to PVC, and then immediately after that we have reached the terminus of the line here at 60 feet out.
Hey, pretty good job.
We'll do locates to verify where the camera head is, and we'll let the line drain out. We've got, I think, 2 bellies in the line we went through there. We'll take a look at those on the way out once the water's drained. Alright, located the camera head successfully. The line comes out to the left of the front doorway, then turns and crosses underneath the driveway, and it heads over, and just maybe 6 feet or so to the right of the driveway, it hits the terminus here. So I would double check, make sure that there is an easement on property and a contract for it, and there's no configuration issues. But that does look like a standard T connection onto a main there, so more than likely it's okay to exist that way, but it's just worth looking into. Some cities are kind of sticklers about lines connect. This doesn't really look like a party line, so anyway, just look into it, double check, make sure that's okay. And right here at the end, there's no diameter change, so it actually looks like the main line pipe within the home and outside of it is 4-inch in diameter, not 3-inch like I previously thought. And we're going to reel back here and assess the bellies in the line. My rule of thumb with bellies, and it's something I've developed over doing about 12, 13, 14,000 sewer scopes, where I generally start to see regular old toilet paper collecting the line is once you get at least 5 feet of pipe with at least 1 inch of standing water, or more. Anything less than that is completely controlled by the homeowner's living habits, and even at that breaking point is still fairly livable, but if you've got kids in the house and stuff, putting things down there you can't really control. Anyway, that's where I generally start to see toilet paper collecting the sewer line. Now right here at our furthest out belly, and the water line is going all the way up above the camera lens there. We're right at about an inch of standing water. And you can see on the sidewalls the amount of junk that's collected there. That's what happens slowly but surely over time, especially when you're putting things like grease down the line. It'll float to the top and start collecting on the sidewalls. Spots like this become really big problems especially when you're putting things like paper towels down the line, wipes, flushable wipes, tampons, grease, cooking oil, stuff like that. Really builds up like crazy. It looks like that belly starts there at 35 feet. And extends out here to 40 feet. So on the dot, it's 5 feet with an inch of water. So I am going to recommend a repair there. If you don't do a repair to correct it, I recommend rescoping the line in a year, because everyone's living habits are different. And that will give you a baseline for how much debris is collecting the line, if any at all, and whether or not you need to be worried about doing a drain cleaning, like a hydrojet every so often, just to keep the debris buildup to a minimum. And I get this marked here with a white X at each end of the belly, and that will go for the other belly if it is as significant as this one or not, but we'll get it mapped out with an X at each end, and I'll mention the depth here in just a moment. Alright, this is about 2 feet underneath the driveway here. It's close enough to the edge. The repair guys may actually be able to tunnel underneath this and avoid digging or cutting through the concrete, which would save a fair amount of money. And right now there's a car parked so close to it that I've got to reel back here a little bit to double check the depth. I'm getting around 4.5, 5 feet deep here, but a car is partially obstructing my locator, so we're going to pull back a little bit and double check that. But I do have the end of this marked with a white X, right up against the left edge of the driveway. Alright, and this spot here is in the yard. I've got an X at each end and some white dots in between, just showing the direct. It's a totally straight shot of pipe here. And we are at 4 feet deep right here at the start of the belly. I do recommend a repair to correct that. Now we're in the other belly here, similar situation. You can see the amount of junk that's collected on the sidewalls, how much stuff that's allowed to build up there. That's as tall as the camera. We've got about an inch thick debris collecting. This one is looking not as significant. However, if you're going to repair the other belly, as close as this is to it, I would recommend getting this one dealt with as well. It's obviously causing stuff to build up in it. My rule of thumb is not absolutely perfect. A lot of it has to do with how the homeowner lives. And this has got an inch thick debris building up on the sidewalls here. So, and when you get two bellies back to back in conjunction with each other, they can cause a fair amount of stuff to build up in the line. Alright, so this one here ends at 30 feet. Again, not as significant. Normally, if this were the only belly in the line, this is something I typically would not recommend repairing, but because we have two bellies back to back, I do recommend they both be corrected. This one's going to be hopefully entirely under the grass and dirt. And again, I'll go get this marked here with white paint. This should be in the front yard area here. I'll mention the depth in just a second. Now we're at 3 feet 10 inches deep here, still underneath the grass and dirt. I've got that marked with a white X. It's right up next to a little green plant, so I put the marking just slightly beyond that to make it obvious. This belly here has got closer to about a ½ inch of standing water. We do have a little running water coming down the line right now. It's exaggerating this a little bit. And we're also about 3 feet 10 inches, 4 feet deeper. The ground's built up a little bit more, but you can see by the depth there, that's a very common thing with bellies, the line's not grading down. You'll have identical depths at each end. This belly here starts at, push forward here, at 23 feet and extends out to 30 feet. This is about a 7-foot section of pipe here. I do recommend correcting both bellies. I would recommend re-scoping afterwards to make sure that the repair was done correctly. A lot of these bellies happen during the installation process, so make sure you get it re-scoped to make sure that they did their job. The other thing I would suggest is, I mean, the roof vent here does work as a point of access. I would recommend getting that clean out uncovered out front. It looks like it's underneath the brick to the left of the front door. That way you have a proper point of access in the event you ever had to clean the line. We're coming back through the crawl space and up the vent here. Aside from the two bellies, the rest of the line is in good condition, has good flow, and is functioning properly at this time. At this point, the line's functioning but being hindered by the belly there overall. I do recommend fixing those bellies. Again, if they're not corrected, I recommend a re-scope in a year to check on the line, see how it's looking at that point, and whether or not you need to be doing any drain cleaning or anything due to debris buildup in the line.